You may not realize it, but inside of you, inside of your life story, there may be a book that could help you launch a business, that could position you as a thought leader to inspire people around the globe. Well, if this is a dream that you've always had, writing a book, you're going to love my guest today. He's the CEO of Motivational Press, and his name is Justin Sachs. Justin, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. So when you want to write a book, we have these stories inside of our lives. How do we take that story and put it into that book that we've always dreamed of writing?
Well, the best way to do it is really decide who that message is for. Who's that target market that you really want to share that message with? And then once you've decided on your target market, you can really identify what are those tips, tools, strategies, and principles that you can use and implement into your book. Because once you've put all that together, you have a really concise message that you can share with the world and really broaden who you're talking to at a large level.
So for example, if you have had a health crisis, all right, so you've gone through an illness and you realized a way to solve it that maybe nobody else knew about, that would be fodder for a good book.
Absolutely, it'd be phenomenal. I mean, if you can cure cancer.
Right.
Right, yeah, I mean, you might be hunted down before that actually happens, but.
Right, so what you do is you take this story that you have, and then how do you tell it in a way that teaches others?
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is create what are those top 10 to 20, maybe even 30 things that you want to share with people. And then once you've decided on those top things, you can just start writing a paragraph about each of them, and then write a page about each of them. And before you know it, you'll have 100, 200 pages, and you'll be ready to package that book.
Okay, so what we need to do is just figure out, okay, what is the wisdom? What's my first lesson I want to teach? What's my second lesson? So maybe start with an outline.
Exactly.
I think that when you think about writing a book, I'm an author of 2 books, all I can think about when I first was getting started is, the blank page. So what would you say to that writer's block, that blank page paranoia?
Yeah, the first thing is go to the bookstore.
Right.
Right, go to the bookstore and look at all the different books in your area.
Right.
And don't get overwhelmed, right? I mean, you will, you naturally
That could be
will.
enough to shut you down.
Exactly, and it most often, I mean, sometimes it does. But look at the bookstores, look at all the different books in your category and decide what's going to make you unique, what's going to make you different, what can you take from the guys that have done it already and use that as a guide for what you want to do yourself, and then make it a little bit different, make it a little bit unique. And once you decide on your uniqueness, you can use those books as a guide to really serve you in creating that content and getting you started.
That's an interesting way, is to use the way other people who've done it, who've been successful, and then write your own version of it.
Exactly.
So in your experience as a publisher, what do you see that a book can do for you?
Well, the biggest thing is, when you walk into a job interview, for most of us, we're going to put that book on the table instead of a resume. And people, and the interviewer,
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're
That's pretty impressive.
You're a huge expert, right?
Yes, here's my
book. Right, exactly. Maybe you're a national bestseller. All of a sudden,
Right.
you have a lot of credibility in that room. The other thing we're doing now is with life insurance agents or stockbrokers, and they might write a book on their different unique packages or unique things that they use to support their clients. That way, when they walk into a client meeting, instead of positioning a brochure or a letter or anything like that, they're putting a book in front of them that outlines all of their credibility and why they should absolutely do what that author says is so great for their message.
So a book can give you a tremendous amount of leverage, credibility, and authority. We're almost out of time, but I did want to ask you before we go, because time really is important to all of us. How long does it take to get that book out there in the world?
Well, it can take anywhere from 60 to 90 days at the fastest. Usually it's around 6 to 9 months. But worst case scenario, it can be a year, 3 years, or even 5 years for some authors that really take their time.
So it is possible to have a book on the market sometime this year.
Very, very quickly, yes. And we tell authors
exciting.
exactly what to do, so that they can do it.
You could be a published author still this year. So Justin Sachs, CEO of Motivational Press, how can our aspiring authors find you?
Motivationalpress.com, or we are all over the social media outlets, so you can find us there as well.
Thank you for being here today with all your insights and inspiration, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.